a few moments to talk about modulo and the round of functions in Python. The modulo function, which is actually the percentage, the percentage symbol, is the only operator you might not be familiar with from high school, right? But of course, for those who did high school in Nigeria, I believe in your second or third year in upper secondary school, you should have been taught about modulo arithmetic. In fact, your first year, I believe. All right, so it helps in calculating the remainder. It's a kind of remainder arithmetic. It calculates the remainder when the number on the left is divided by the number on the right of the modulo. So here is an example. 11 divided by 3 is 3 remainder 2. All right, so it gives you the remainder. It doesn't tell you the quotient. It only tells the remainder that you get when you divide 11 by 3. All right, so that's what modulo arithmetic does. For instance, I can also have 5 percentage 2. Of course, when you divide 5 by 2, you get 2 with a remainder of 1. So when you run this, it gives just a remainder 1, and it doesn't bother us about the quotient, like how many times 2 we go into 5, or 2 we divide 5, and how many times 3 divides 11. It only gives us the remainder. So this modular arithmetic is a very, very powerful operator in Python that is used in you can use it to define. Of course, here is what I've written. So 11 divided by 3, I was going to say this already, but I forgot that I already captured it in the slide. Okay, this is because the number 3 goes into 11 2 times, or 3 times rather, because 3 times 3 is 9, and with 2 left over, which means when you subtract 9 from 11, you get 2. So we often use modulo operator to determine whether a number is even or odd. All right, and if a number is even, the number must be divided by 2 or divisible by 2, and with a remainder of 0. But if the remainder is not 0, then the number must be odd. So here are even numbers. For instance, 10 is an even number, and it gives you an output of 0. 4 is an even number, and so on and so forth. And this is an odd number. So I can just have let me just write one simple line of code to say give me I have a list. Let me just quickly create a list to show you how this works. I want to pick out the even numbers from the list. Of course, you learn how to do stuff like this as you move on. So I want to just give a list of numbers between 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now from this list, let me call this num. Num means numbers. Num equal to, that's just a variable name, right? So we'll talk about variable names shortly, very soon in a future video. So I'm calling this list a num. Don't worry, I know this is the first time you're seeing what a list is. We'll dwell on lists soon. It's other types of data type. I know we've only talked about the primitive data types, but like I did mention in that video, there are more data types. We'll dwell on those shortly. So here's a list. Now I want to bring out all the even numbers from this list. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'll ask Python using the if function. Of course, I'm using things that we have not touched on, but don't worry, we'll definitely cover all of these. So let me call this number, so I'll call this number. So if num okay, for num in number, I use the for loop. For num in number, just watch out what I want to do. I just want you to understand the power of modulo. For num in number, right? If num divided by 2 gives 0, then I would like you to print num. Or let me say, I'll print num. Num is, I'll say num is, I'll print num is an even number. Num is an even number. All right, so num is an even number. Else I would say num is odd. Else I'll say num is odd. Print num is odd, right? num is odd. Yeah, so this is what I want to do. I want to run this code. Now the code Python will go through, loop through the numbers in the list, and to check if the number gives 0 when divided by 2, it returns okay, that number is an even number, else it will return num is odd. So let's see what happens with this. So can you see now? Awesome, this is amazing. It says 0 is an even number, 1 is odd, 2 is an even number, 3 is odd, 4 is an even number, 5 is odd, 6 is an even number, 7 is odd, 8 is an even number, 9 is odd, and 10 is an even number. So like I said earlier, this modular arithmetic or modular operator will help you to do very simple and interesting, simple and interesting codes like this. It has a lot of applications. As you move on with your data analytics, career using Python, you would find it very, very helpful and resourceful. All right, so that is modulo operator. I believe you understand how this works. Let's move on to the round function, or the round built-in function in Python. So how does round works? Round takes in two parameters, the number and the n digits. That is the number of how many digits do you want to round that given number to. So we also have the built-in function, Python function called round. It rounds up or down numbers. For example, we can round up 3.141592655359 number to 2 digits or 2 decimal places in Python. And how do you perform that? Simply call the round function round, put the number in the round function, that is the number, and then how many number of decimal places do you want? 2. All right, so once you run this particular function or Python cell, you have 3.14. It's just rounded it up 3.14. When you round this up, you have 2.67. all right, so that is I need just 2 decimal places and it gives me the value. So note that this is not an error. It's just a result of the way computers do math, right? Because ordinarily, if you are doing this rounding up, you should obtain 2.68, right? But it's not an error, it's just the way it's programmed to do the math for you. Now, to learn more about a round function and how to round up or round down, you can check up this link. It gives you much more information about the round function. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. That'll be all for this short video. In the next video, we'll be looking at strings and see how to perform some strings manipulations in Python using Jupyter Notebook. Yes, if you enjoyed or you like this video, please feel free to like, drop comments, and share the videos. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channels, why not just go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can get notifications when we post new, interesting, and highly educating videos of this kind in the near future. Do have a wonderful day and enjoy yourself. Goodbye.